Alright guys, I actually have a confession for you. I am from the South, but I've never had Bojangles. So we're gonna try it out. I'm a huge fan of Zaxby's. So first things first, they're really famous for their biscuits. And it's very buttery, light, fluffy. Let's try it. I got some gravy, white gravy. Try this baby out. So right off the bat, best fast food biscuit I've ever had. I'd say KFC's for me got a really good biscuit, but I think this biscuit is much better. Secondly, you got your Cajun fries here. Pretty good amount of seasoning on it. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, good layer of Cajun seasoning on that. Something I'm really interested in is this special Bojangles sauce. Oh, you can really smell the horseradish. So let's see if it's better than Zach's sauce or if it's better than Kane's sauce. Got me little chicken tender. You know what? I think Zaxby's chicken is better. And the sauce though, I think the sauce, they're like right up there, I think. This one has a little bit more complexity. I think the Zach sauce is a little bit more one note. This one has got layers, it's got levels to it.
This is Just Foods, and I'm gonna drink some Southern Shock Mountain Dew.
Sugar Dew. Open it up. Show them the vibrant color of the Sugar Dew.
It's like orange red. It's really good. I like it a lot.
Like?
I actually like pretty much every Mountain Dew, honestly, a lot. So if I didn't like control myself, I'd drink Mountain Dew pretty regularly, but I don't drink a lot of pop, so.
Is the Southern Shock better than the regular Mountain Dew? I've never heard of Southern Shock before.
Yeah, it's definitely better than just generic Mountain Dew for me, but I love all Mountain Dews, pretty much. I like them all a lot. Need some mac and cheese. The way you can tell a Southern place if it's good is always the mac and cheese, buried deep down. Nothing special, but it's good. It's better than anything you'll get in California from a restaurant.
From the best restaurant.
From a macaroni and cheese restaurant in California.
Some things that we missed out on if you come to Bojangles, something I was really excited for, the Bo's chicken sandwich, a spicy chicken sandwich. So I wanted to see how it competes with the other chicken war chicken sandwiches. And another thing that we missed out on is the breakfast chicken biscuit. They do like a Cajun chicken biscuit.
No, it's all day.
Oh, it's all day? But it's like a breakfast style biscuit. Yeah. So we missed out on that. We probably should have gotten that, but we got chicken, we got biscuits, kind of like a chicken biscuit. But I would say Bojangles, definitely A tier. I would say it's definitely an A tier restaurant. What do you think?
I would say Bojangles is the Chicken Republic of the East Coast. We are currently in Washington, D.C., and we're about to go and try to get into the Naval Museum they have here. So hopefully it works. Let's find out. It's really nice. It's like honestly one of the perfect times of year to come out here because it's fall, so you got all the leaf changes.
A lot of beautiful colors. Also, we asked the Navy commander the directions because we got lost, and he directed us to this boardwalk area, which is very beautiful, he said. And I tend to agree.
Yeah,
here, look.
He said it's the nicest way to come, and he's definitely 100% right.
Navy stuff already.
Yeah, they even got like a little submarine conning tower here, some naval guns over there. It's nice. They have a massive railway gun. I've never seen one of these in real life, but historically, right, a really long-range piece of artillery that people would haul around. Obviously, you see how large it is. You couldn't just, you know, drag it or pull it. They'd attach this to a train, set it up, and shoot it and shell away. I think some of the largest artillery pieces ever made were actually railway guns. The Germans had one in World War I that from the German lines, they could actually shell, I think, might be wrong, but I think they could get all the way to Paris from where they were at with a railway gun. And then obviously in World War II they used them too, Germans a lot. Other people did too, but. So they've got a boat out here from Vietnam era, probably like a PT boat or like a coastal patrol ship. Right here, PCFS, Swift boats, employ coastal river operations, yeah. So this is like a littoral ship. You keep it right around the coast into the rivers a little bit. It's a little bit bigger than the traditional PT boats you'll see in movies like, name one.
PT 109? That's an old one.
Is that an old movie?
Yeah, that's an old movie.
What's the one with Charlie Sheen's dad?
Yeah, you're talking about Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now. This is way bigger than that one, obviously. But really cool, really interesting to see. If you're into war, military history, boats, nice seeing them.
Actually, I think PT 109 was actually a movie about PT boats in World War II.
Oh, all right.
It might have actually been JFK's boat. I'm gonna look that up right now. Who's in that?
Impossible to say, but I do know when the president flies around, just put it towards them. When the president flies around in Marine One, which is whatever helicopter he's in, it's called Marine One, they always fly in threes. One with him and two, just in case somebody wants to lob up a missile at him, they might get the wrong one. So that might have been, maybe.
Mr. Joseph Biden.
That's not what Marine Ones usually look like because they use a specific type of helicopter, but they had the type of painting that they usually have for that kind of thing, and there was 3 of them, so I don't know. Remember the Maine, to hell with Spain. This ship sank in Havana Harbor, and this is what brought us into the Spanish-American War. Cuba, you're free because this ship got sank by by the Spanish when it was in the harbor. Puerto Rico, you're with us because same thing. Philippines, you got freedom, same deal. Guam, same deal. So we are still wandering around, and there's just a lot of like historic stuff.
Yeah.
Like these cannons just scattered around.
If you're interested in military history, particularly naval history, then this base is definitely the one for you.
Spanish gun captured during the Spanish-American War. This is literally captured from the Spanish military, probably in Cuba or Puerto Rico by America. That's really cool. Or maybe even the Philippines. This could have came from the Philippines. Does it say? No, it doesn't.
Originally mounted in the defenses of Manila.
Oh yeah, there you go. If you're a Filipino, this literally came from Manila, where the Spanish colonizers had you, and America came, and we stole it. We took over.
We got your cannon, Spain. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, Spain, come get your cannon back.
Hey,
I dare you.
Listen here, Mr. Spain. Don't give us a reason.
Come gunning for you.
We took your cannon, you stupid.
We took your cannons and all the damn balls too.
And all the damn balls too. This particular cannon was named the Bull and was taken during the Mexican War. So it doesn't say specifically where in Mexico, but taken in Mexico from the Spanish.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Let's see what else we got going on out here. Spanish, we really took a lot of your guns, even if we're counting Mexico's Spanish guns.
The name El Tosico. Poisonous one. This was another one from Mexico.
So it's from Mexico, Philippines.
Mexico.
All right, keep going.
Oh, the copper imported from Chile. Each one of these has a lot of detail about this specific cannon that I don't know.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm glad they kept record of it. El Galgo. Another Mexican War one.
Let's see this last little one. I'm hoping for a Puerto Rico or a Cuba. Come on, give me Puerto Rico or Cuba.
Made for Revolutionary France.
Oh, the Quasi War. Oh, wow. That's a really, like, not well-known war. That's the U.S. and France. We fought, like, it was solely a naval thing. Yeah.
It was solely a what?
Naval thing.
Oh,
like,
really?
At sea. Yeah. I'm astonished to see this. This is the first artifact from the Quasi War I've ever seen in my life, I think. Right, sorry, we're doing just cannons right now, but this is actually taken during the Barbary Wars, so probably in modern day Libya.
No, it says Algiers.
If you know the Marine fighting, like their song, from the shores of Montezuma,
From the halls of Montezuma.
halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. This is it. They dropped off a few Marines and they got up a local force and they fought the Barbary. We also did a lot of like naval combat with the pirates out there, because one huge issue America was having when it was a very new country, nobody really took it seriously, is Barbary pirates. European countries could afford to bribe them or threaten them with their might to kind of stay away. But the United States, we were nothing, we couldn't. So a lot of Americans were getting kidnapped, and then like local communities would have to put together ransoms to send out there to get their people back. So a lot of what the very early United States Navy did was like having to deal with pirates off in the Mediterranean. So having been to Morocco in some of our other videos, it's actually really interesting seeing like, you know, they were Barbary pirates also, you know, and we've got some of their history right here.
It's all connected.
Yeah, the whole world, believe it or not, it's all one thing. Okay, today we're here in Washington, D.C, and we're at the National Museum of the United States Navy, and we're actually currently on the Navy base here, and I believe it said it was the first land Navy base, and it was set aside by George Washington, the actual base was. I don't want to get that wrong, but that's what I believe I read. So we're going to take a tour of the museum, and I think we saw some things outside of the museum that we're going to show as well. So we're just going to pick out some of the things we find the most interesting and tell you about them. But this is a really amazing museum. We both enjoyed it a lot. Also, this museum isn't generally open to the public, so for a lot of people, this will probably be the only look you'll really get a look at it. I'm sure there's probably more comprehensive videos online, maybe, talking about it, but maybe not, I don't know. This place has some really interesting like artifacts that I was very surprised. One specifically, I was incredibly like surprised to see here. So let's go beep it out. So here in the museum, it actually starts towards the front over here, where things are a lot more of the beginning of United States history, and is roughly in a chronological order, starting here in the Revolutionary War section. This is actually from a ship that was sunk during the Revolutionary War. And funny enough, they kind of have a big emphasis in this section on the alliance that we had with the French, but the section right next door to us is actually the quasi-war and the war we had with the French right after this. But yeah, it starts here with United States naval history starting during the Revolution, and it slowly builds, Civil War, blah blah, all the way to World War II and even into the modern age. And all along the top here, they actually have a list of very historic and important ships. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't found anybody who works here who could say definitively, but I think these are all ships that were sunk at some point. So something that I'm particularly interested in, this is the USS Olympia, and this was actually, obviously this isn't the real thing, but this is a model of the USS Olympia, and this was actually the flagship for Commodore Perry, who liberated the Philippines from Spanish occupation during the Spanish-American War. I would really love to get on board one of like this ship and see what it's like, because it's such an old ship. I think it was 1898 when the Spanish-American War happened, so I'd really love to see how it's designed and just the layout of it. So right here above me, you can actually see the Corsair. If you don't know this, I'm a really big World War II buff. The Corsair is not the mainstay carrier fighter of World War II for the United States, but it was definitely a very important and pivotal one. And for me, I think it's one of the most beautiful aircrafts of the entire war. Like definitively. And something that I think is even cooler back here behind it in the yellow, there was so the typical Japanese bomber was called the Betty bomber, or Betty, and they would fly these things, and let's just say it's a Betty bomber, and it would have one of those attached to the bottom of it, and basically those would be manned rockets where they'd release it close enough to where they could bring themselves on target to hit a ship, and the person would fly it in and be like a giant manned missile where they smash into the ship. It's a type of kamikaze basically. And here in the United States Naval Museum, obviously this would have killed hundreds, maybe thousands of Americans. I don't know how much they were actually used and how successful they actually were, but it's really cool seeing something that was meant for, you know, obvious destruction, you know, right here. I said you know a lot, sorry about that, but you know? So this is something we actually had to mention before in one of our other videos, but this is the United States, or USS Missouri, which was the ship that the Japanese surrendered on World War II on. So it didn't see very much combat, maybe not even seen any combat at the end of the war, but the President of the United States was from Missouri during World War II at the very end. So they used the Missouri as kind of like a nice thing for him to have the Japanese surrender on. So this right here, they actually have a table, and that's the spot on the ship where Japan and World War II surrendered and it ended.
A little piece of history that I find really interesting. So for one, the USS Missouri is currently docked in Pearl Harbor, and all these guns are facing forward, guarding over the USS Arizona, which sunk. And another little piece of history that I think is really funny. When they went to do the signing for the treaty that ended World War II, they had the Japanese representatives come on board, and on both sides they lined up US sailors in their dress whites. And the sailors that they picked were all the tallest sailors that they could, 6 foot and plus. So when these short Japanese guys were walking and they saw these giant US sailors on both sides of them, I'm sure they felt like they had no chance of ever winning the war. I'm sure that was the intention of the US when they set that whole situation up. But I visited the spot. If you're in Hawaii, Pearl Harbor, I definitely recommend checking out the USS Missouri, one of my favorite ships.
All right, so this is Admiral Nimitz. He was basically the winner of World War II in the Pacific for the United States. And something that's really interesting about him, he's from a place in Texas where a lot of, maybe back when he was alive, everybody spoke German. So if you're really interested in the German language, or the specifically Texas German, or just weird shit like that, this was a Texas German. I think he even grew up speaking German.
To my knowledge, German was his first language.
Yeah, that's what
So, there you go, Chester Nimitz, savior of the Pacific.
Texas German.
American German, Texas German. Well, that's it for this museum. Let's go to the next one.